Right. The last class we discussed about the data file, log file. What is the role of data file and log file? The importance of both the files. Okay. And how the transactions will be managed. The log file hardening will also called as a WAL. Sometimes the intros they will ask you guys what is meant by WAL. Okay. So val is nothing but write ahead logging. Okay. Val is nothing but write ahead logging. Write ahead logging. Okay. So logging means simply the meaning of logging is writing everything. Okay. Logbook, you know the logbook, right? If you go to any library and all, sometimes they will ask you, please enter your details in the logbook. Okay. Log means it contains everything. The same way your log file also will work. So write ahead logging means in the morning we discussed right the log file hardening. Both are same. Okay. Writing everything to the log file is called log file hardening or WAL. Okay. So as I said, the log file contains all the transactions, guys, until it is going to be moved to data file permanently. Temporarily, the log file will hold the transactions. Once it's committed, then the particular transaction, the data will be moved to the data file and the transaction will be truncated from the log file. This is the mechanism of the log file. Right. So now let's discuss this also. When you are creating a table, exactly what happened in the data file, how the data will be managed. Okay, in the data file, how the data will be managed. Okay, let me open one diagram. Okay, it will be helpful for us. Maybe let me go to this SQL data and the demo. I don't have the diagram yet. Okay. Just 1 minute. I'm just checking whether where is the diagram. Just 1 minute, guys.
No experience in data. Hello.
Just a minute, just a minute. I'm just looking for one diagram. Just going to pull it. Right. Okay. So you can able to see the screen, right, guys? Okay. So now listen carefully. It's easy only. Okay. So internally, if you go inside the data file, what will happen? How the data will be managed? When you are creating the table, exactly where this table is going to be created. Okay. How this is going to be managed? Let's discuss all these things. As I said, how the data will be stored logically, how the data will be stored physically. So now we are discussing, in the morning we discussed how the data will be stored logically. Logically means in the SQL server we will have databases. Inside the databases you will have schema. Schema is a logical container. If you go inside the schema you will have tables. This is how the logically, okay, the tables will be stored logically. Schema is a kind of a container, we can say. For example, if you go for the HR tables, for example, if in one database, imagine if you are creating multiple tables, so I can classify in the HR. We will have different fields, guys. In the HR, we will have attendance related things. We will have salary related things. Will have recruitment related things. Will have. So I can classify these tables as per my schema. Okay, under salary schema, it's a logical content. Under salary schema, I'll have multiple tables. Under attendance schema, I'll have multiple tables. So I can classify it. So it's a kind of a logical container. So logically, this is how the data will be stored inside SQL Server. We'll have databases. Inside the databases, we'll have schema. Inside the schema, we will have tables. So that's how the data will be managed manually. I mean to say, in the SQL Server, that's how the data will be managed logically. As schema is mandatory, but we don't create any schema manually. Okay, by default a schema will be created when you are creating a table, that is called a default schema, which is DBO. That's why if you see some tables, as of now we didn't create any tables, but when you see some tables, you can see the table name starts with the DBO dot your particular table name, DBO dot table name. So what is that DBO dot table name? So that is your particular schema name. So inside that particular schema, okay, we are creating the tables. That's how the data will be stored logically. And how this table will be managed physically, how the data will be stored physically. So for that you have to understand this diagram, guys. Okay, this is how the data will be stored physically in the data file. So inside the SQL Server, you will have SQL Server is nothing but it's an instance, right? Inside the instance, you will have database. As you know that in the morning we discussed, database is nothing but collection of data files and a log file, correct? So what happened is data files cannot exist independently, guys. So data files can exist only in the file groups. Okay, so if you see inside this database, the boundary, the yellow boundary, if you see inside this database, you can see, okay, primary file groups. You can see file groups. Okay, inside the file groups, you can see data files. Right, there are two types of data files mainly. One is .mdf data file, second one is .ndf data file. See, listen carefully. Inside the instance you will have databases physically. Inside the database you will have file groups and a log file. See, log file doesn't belongs to any file group. If you see here, you can see .ldf, this file, this red color box, .ldf, which is log files. Log files actually doesn't belongs to any file groups, guys. Functionality wise, log file will behave differently, data file will behave differently, correct? So log file doesn't have any file group structure and all, whereas your data files will have file group structure. So data files cannot exist, okay, alone. So data files will be existed in a file group. So that's why a default file group will be created when you create the database. That default file group name is primary file group. So if you go inside the file group, you will have data files. As I said, there are two types of data files. One is MDF file, second one is NDF file. So when you are creating any database, by default you will get two files. What are those two files, guys? What are those two files? One is dash
MDF.
MDF file, data file. Okay, one is MDF file, second one is log file. Only one MDF file will be existed per database. Remember, only one MDF, master data file. MDF means master data file, will exist. MDF is nothing but it's an extension. .mdf, .ndf, .ldf. For log file, the extension will be .ldf. For data files, there are two types of data files. One is .mdf, master data file. Second one is .ndf, next data file or new data file. If my MDF is full, then I can add the other data files, which will be NDF files. So how many maximum MDF file can a database can have, guys? Maximum MDF file. How many max MDF files
Guys,
can?
One.
Only one.
One.
I'm not saying only one data file. Okay, I'm saying only one MDF file. If that MDF file is full, the drive that is hosting this MDF file is full, you can extend that drive. If the drive we cannot extend max, how much we can extend max? We can extend to 2 TB a drive. If you cannot extend the drive, still the database is growing, then I can add another data file called NDF file. If that is also full, I'll add second NDF file. If that is also full, I'll add third NDF file. I'll keep adding data files. So whatever data files we are adding, those data files are .ndf files. By default, you will get one data file, right? That is .mdf file. So when you create a database, it will create two files, okay, with one extension .mdf. And what is the second extension, guys? What is the second file? What is the second file? What is the
dot
second
LDF.
file? Dot LDF. Okay, one data file and one log file. If this data file is full, okay, this MDF is full, then I'll add one NDF, guys, plus NDF. If that is also full, I'll add another NDF. If that is also full, I'll add another NDF, 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 like that I can keep on adding, guys. Okay, this is how physically it will be managed. Again, I am just repeating. Inside the instance, you will have databases. If you go inside the database, you will have file groups and log file. Log file. If you go inside the file group, you will have data files. There are two types of data files. One is MDF file, second one is NDF file. By default, when you create a database, you will get two files. One is MDF, second one is .ldf for log file. For data file .mdf, for log file .ldf. Per database, only one MDF file will be existed. If this file is full, if the drive that is hosting this file is full, then I can add one more data file. I can add one more data file. Like that, how many data files I can have? I can add, guys. Per database, how many data files I can add? Can anyone guess it? In the SQL server, we have a magic number. What is that magic number? What is it?
32,000.
Uh,
32,000.
767.
767. Remember this number. Okay. We can create 32,767 databases. We can create 32,767 logins. We can create 32,767 users. We can add 32,767 files. We can add, I mean to say, we can open 32,767 sessions. In the morning, we discussed it, right? Sessions. So 32,000 is answer for so many questions, guys. 32,767. Okay, so like that, if that MDF is full, I can add another NDF and another NDF. Like that, it will support 32,000. One database will support 32,767 files. One database, not one SQL server. One database will support 32,767 files. But Shanmukh, in the organization, do we add? No, hardly. Max to max, only one data file will be there. If not, if the database is very big in size, maybe two data files, three data files, maybe hardly 5 to 10 data files, maybe you can see for any database. In general, only one data file, that is MDF file, will be there. If the database is big, if it is critical, if it is growing, then we'll keep adding the file. So max, if you add max to max, I have seen so far, I have seen maybe 20 data files, biggest database. 20 data files. Okay, each data file will be stored in a separate drive. Guys, it's not mandatory that a data file and block file should sit together. No, data file can store in the D drive, log file can store in the F drive. Okay, practically it is good because why guys, why? If you store both the files in the single drive, what will happen? First thing is safety. If that particular drive is gone, all of your files will be gone. Second thing is
Rara.
second thing is load, because the log file will keep writing the data, the load will be more on the log file. If both files are storing in the same drive, there will be a lot of load on the particular drive, there will be a lot of load on the particular drive, so the performance will be degraded. So it's always better to maintain separate drive for data files, and it is always better to maintain separate drives for log files, so the load will be shared across the drives. On D drive, its own read and write operations will happen. On F drive, log drive, its own read and write operations will happen. So the load will be shared across the drives. So the performance will be better in case, like if you are storing the data files and log files separately in separate drives. Okay, the performance will be good. That's why in the organization, data files will have data drives. Okay, log files will have log drives. Again, we have temp DB and all. Again, we have a separate drive for that. Backup files will have backup drive. We don't mix. Okay, the recommended practice, you can mix it if you want, but the recommended practice, we don't mix it. For data files, data drive. For log files, log drive. For backups, backup drive. For temp DB, separate drive. So each files generally will be stored in separate drives for getting the better performance. This is how, okay, we will manage, guys. This is how the files will be managed. So now if you go inside the data files, let's go inside the data files. What will be there? If you go inside the data files, you can see extents. What is that, guys? Extents. If you go inside the extent, then you can see pages. Okay, pages. Imagine, guys, one table is equal to one book. One table is equal to one book. In the book, how we have pages, if one page is full, how we'll go to the next page? In the same way, when you are creating one table, SQL server will allocate one page for you from the book called extent. Here the extent is a book. In this book, we will have 8 pages. This extent contains 8 pages. Extent is nothing but collection of 8 data pages. Imagine, like if you are attending any board exams and all, generally like 10th class or +1 +2 or graduation or BTech, whatever it is, you will get a booklet, right? When you are going for the exams, you will get a booklet initially. It might have 6 pages or 16 pages, whatever it is. Okay, you will get a booklet. If that booklet is full, what you will do? You will ask extra additional. In the same way, extent is a kind of a book which is having 8 pages. So when you are creating a table, listen carefully. When you are creating a table, select, I mean to say, one table, create table, table name employee, or create table, table name student. When you are creating a table, create table student, student number, I mean to say, what is that, roll number and integer, student name varchar of 100. Okay, student mobile number, maybe some integer kind of thing. So when you are creating that table, it can be a small table, whatever it is. When you are creating a table, SQL server will allocate a page from you from one booklet, which is an extent. If that page is full, then SQL server will add one more page for you. If that is also full, SQL server will add one more page. So if your table is growing, if your business is growing, it will keep adding the pages for you for your tables. When the business is growing, the data, you will get huge data. If you are getting huge data, means you have to store. You are going to insert the records. So a page is 8 KB size only. The page size is fixed. That's why you can see here total 8 pages will be there. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, total 8 pages in the extent. So when you are creating a table, what SQL Server will do? SQL Server will allocate a page from the extent. Okay, guys, is it clear? Any questions, doubts so far, please? So when you are creating a table, that's why remember always a table is a book. You can easily remember always a table is a book. Okay, because how the book will be managed, the pages and all, the index and all. In the same way, table also will have index, guys. As I said, table is a book. Imagine table is a book. A book will have index, right? Then only I can easily go. See, when you are storing a data inside the table, you should be able to retrieve the data quickly, right? You might know this book, Encyclopedia. It's very big book. Can I read that book without index space? Is it possible? If I want to go to specific topic, how I can go to specific topic if I don't have index? So every book that is storing the data will have index, should have index. Even the rough notes that you are okay writing also the page numbers will be there so that I can directly go and I can easily mark the topic and I can easily retrieve the data. So that's how. So imagine the table is also a book. The table contains indexes. We will discuss in the performance tuning. Okay, the data will be stored in the table, right? The table at the end of the day, the table will be created on a page, 8 KB page. So when you are creating a table, create table name, SQL Server will give 8 KB page for you. If you are not inserting any data, your wastage will be limited to 8 KB only. If you are keep inserting the data, SQL Server will keep adding 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB. Once this extent is done, second extent, 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB. You are keep on inserting the data, 8 KB, 8 KB, 8 KB. It will keep giving the pages. So your book will become very big. If the table is growing means what? What will happen? Okay. So page is basic allocation unit in the SQL Server. In the interviews, maybe if you go beyond 8 years, not 5, sometimes 6 years also they will ask. If you go beyond 8 years and all, generally they will ask this question: what is page? Page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. What is a page, guys?
Basic storage.
Page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. How the data will be organized physically? How the data will be organized physically, guys? Okay. So we'll have SQL Server. How the data will be organized. Organized physically. Last time in the morning session, we just discussed about logically, right? How the data will be organized logically. This is how the data will be organized physically. In the SQL instance, you will have databases. In the databases, you will have what? File groups and log file. Okay. So inside the file group, if you go, you will have inside the file group. Okay, let's go like this. Okay, log file, right. Inside the file group, you will have what? What you will have, guys? Data files. Okay, there are two types of data files. One is .mdf, second one is .ndf. Okay, if you go inside the data file, what will happen? What will be there inside the data file? What will,
Pages.
what will there, guys?
Extents.
Okay, you will have extents. If you go inside the extents, you will have pages. Page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server. Okay, so if you see here, that's why we just added page is a basic storage unit in the SQL Server, guys. Basic storage unit in the SQL Server. So whenever you are creating a table, SQL Server will give you a page from the extent. Okay, is it clear, guys? So where is your table storing? At the end of the day, it will go and sit on the page. Can I share the page? For example, you just created one table, guys, very small table. Okay, the page size is 8 KB. You just created a small table, maybe imagine 100K, maybe 1 KB, not 100 KB, 1 KB. You just created one table with 1 KB. Still 7 KB free space is there in the particular page. Can I allocate this free space to some other table? Can I share the page? Okay, in the SQL Server, it's not possible. It's not
No.
possible to share the page. So one table is equal to one page. Whether you are using or not using, one table is equal to one page. If you are using, it will add extra page. If you are not using, the wastage will be limited to 8 KB. Is it clear, guys? Page is not shareable because what will happen? Why page is not shareable, guys? Any idea why page is not shareable? Imagine your employee table is stored on 100 pages. Okay, when you run select query, select star from employee, all these 100 pages will be loaded into the memory, guys. That's how you are getting the data. All these 100 pages will be loaded into the memory. Select star means what? All the records, right? So when you are running this, all the particular 100 pages will be loaded inside the memory. So if page is shareable, multiple objects will be loaded. Security issue. You cannot manage it properly. That's why page is not shareable. One page, one table. If that particular page is not sufficient, SQL Server will allocate another page, another page, another page, another page. Like that, the table will grow. Clear, guys? Any questions, doubts so far, please? Right. Let's come back to extent. What is an extent? What is a page, guys? Page is a basic storage unit, right? What is an extent? Extent is a basic. Can anyone tell me?
Collection of pages.
Basic, yeah. Extent is collection of pages. Collection of data pages. First, data pages, and the second definition is extent. Extent is a basic dash unit. Page is a basic storage unit. Extent is a basic dash unit. You can guess it. Basic. It will start with A. Basic. 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 At least guess it, guys. You can see. That's it. Very good. Allocation unit. It is going to allocate, right? As I said, it will allocate. The sequencer will allocate an extent. Okay, it will allocate a page from the extent, or it will allocate an extent. So that's why we'll call it as extent is a basic allocation unit. Page is a basic storage unit. Extent is a basic allocation unit. There are two types of extents, guys. There are two types of extents. One is mixed extent. Second one is uniform extent. Mixed extent and uniform extent. Okay, what is the difference between these two? Mixed extent and uniform extent. See here. Okay. You see here. Mixed extent, uniform extent. What is the difference between these two? Can you tell me? Can you guess and tell me what is the difference between these two? You know the answer.
Uniform extent. Pages from same table.
Very good. Very good. Mixed extent, pages from different objects, different tables. See here. If you see here, uniform extent, table 1, table 1, table 1, table 1, table 1, table 1. So if all the pages belongs to same table, that is uniform extent, guys. If all the pages belongs to different tables, that is mixed extent, guys. Very simple. Why we have these many extents? Can anyone guess why we have these mixed extent and uniform extent? Why? What is the concept behind it? See, in the examination, whether you are reading or you are not reading, you are also going to get 8 pages booklet. I am also going to get 8 pages booklet. If you are reading, you are going to fill that whole booklet. You will ask extra additionals. You will keep adding the additionals until you have a answers in your mind. Okay, until you are going to fill everything, until you are going to write everything. If I don't read anything, generally that 8 pages book itself is very difficult to me to fill. We cannot even fill, if we don't read, we cannot even fill that 8 pages booklet. I am going to waste the other pages. Correct? Imagine if when you are creating a table, imagine if SQL server is allocating, which extent it will allocate, guys? Initially, which extent it will allocate? It will allocate from the mixed extent or uniform extent? Can you guess? Just guess it. Any database software, generally it will give first preference to save the storage. Okay, so when you are creating a table for the first time, as I said, of course, extent is an allocation unit, right? So from which extent you will get the page? From uniform extent or from mixed extent? Can you guess?
Uniform.
Uniform? That's why I gave you an example of examination.
I guess mixed
Why mixed? आपका क्या
because
बता? Pinky Ponky?
no,
Hmm.
because it's just said right कि it will look for to accommodate the storage which is available with the whatever data we have it in the database. It's tables, data objects we have it.
Not exactly. Maybe you are close to the answer. You know, guys, you can
Because
easily
there
guess
is
it.
no data, it is smaller than the 64 KB. Extent is 64 KB. It may be less than the 64 KB when we created the table.
Okay, I just gave you the example. Okay, if I don't read, is there any meaning of giving 8 pages booklet to me? What I'll do? If you are giving 8 pages booklet to me, what I'll do? I didn't read anything. I just with blank mind I came to the examination. What I'll do? Very simple, right? I don't even fill also. I'll simply, maybe I'll write 1 or 2 pages. I'll hand over the booklet. What will happen? I'm going to waste remaining 6 pages. Now tell me the answer. From which extent it will allocate when you are creating a table for the first time? From which extent it will allocate? Why mixed?
Suppose if you fill up three, remaining five is
Very good, very good. Suppose if I don't see, I am creating a student table. The student table can grow in future or it cannot grow. Maybe now for sampling purpose, I'll create one table for practice purpose and all. I don't insert any table, write any data in the non-prod servers also. I'll just create it. There is no mandatory that I'm going to insert the data in the non-prod servers. So if I gave you uniform extent, I am going to waste all other 8 pages or 7 pages. One page it will take, right? Remaining all 7 pages I am going to waste. So 7 into 8, 56 KB I am going to wasted. Imagine per one table itself, if you are wasting this much of storage, imagine you will create hundreds of tables. How much storage you are going to waste? If you are getting a page from the mixed extent, if you are not writing anything, your wastage will be limited to a single page because the other pages will be used to other objects, other tables and all. See, student table, employee table, some other address table, some other fees table, some other, okay, marks table. I can allocate the other pages to other tables. So no need to waste the storage and all. Is it clear now, guys, everyone? So initially, whenever you are creating a table, it will allocate a page from the mixed extent. As mixed extent is nothing but, okay, all 8 pages belongs to multiple objects. This can be shared, this extent, the uniform, the mixed extent can be shared between the objects. Whereas uniform extent, no. All 8 pages belongs to a single table. If you just created one table, automatically it will take one page, but you are not inserting any data, as it is allocating other 7 pages also to you. So unnecessarily you are wasting 7 pages, guys. Unnecessarily you are wasting all these 7 pages. But if it allocates only one page to you, other pages can be used for other tables or other objects like indexes and all. So to save the storage, okay, generally for the first time when you create a table, it will allocate a page from the mixed extent. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
The subsequent allocations, now your table is growing, suddenly the data is coming, then immediately SQL will allocate uniform extent. The subsequent allocations will be uniform extent if your table is growing. Only the initial allocation will be mixed extent. The subsequent allocations will be uniform extent, guys. If your table is still growing, okay, that time it don't allocate. So for the first time only it will allocate mixed extent, as it don't know whether your table will grow or not. The subsequent allocations will be uniform extents, guys. Any questions, doubts here, please?
System will decide as
Yes,
per
everything
the
will be,
data we
see,
have it,
this
whether
is
it will go to
only,
mixed extent or uniform, right?
this is only for our knowledge purpose. Nothing we do in the organization or in the project or in the job, just for the information purpose. So everything will be managed by SQL Server automatically.
Okay, but if you want to check whether our data is going in the mixed extent or uniform extent, so
You can check
is
it, but it's two internals. So
okay.
maybe you can work on it.
Okay.
We have separate DBCC
Mhm.
commands. Using those DBCC commands, DBCC page info,
Mhm.
like that, using those commands, you can able to get those details. Even I can force
But this is
SQL
not.
Server to use uniform extent. I
Yes.
can force SQL Server to use uniform extent. Okay, just to, if I know that the initial, I don't want mixed extent, Shanmugh, can I force SQL Server to use uniform extent? Yes, you have to enable some trace flags, then it will start using uniform extents only. The initial, from the beginning itself, it will start using uniform extents only. Okay, any questions, doubts, guys?
So usually we don't deal with it.
No, just for the information purpose, we don't deal like which extent it is taking. Okay, whether I can allocate. We don't allocate. First of all, SQL will be managed internally. Okay, all these things and all. This is only for a information purpose and all. In the interviews, if someone is asking what is meant by a page, what is meant by extent, how many extents are there, why mixed extent, why uniform extent, what is the use of these extents, what is the size of the extent, what is the size of the extent, guys? Can you guess? Extent is collection of 8 data
64
pages.
KB.
64 KB.
Each page size is 8 KB, right? Extent is nothing but collection of 8 data pages. So what is the size of the extent? What is the size of the extent?
64.
8 1 ja 8, 8 2 ja 16, 8 8 ja 64 KB. Okay, so that is fixed. Page size is fixed. Extent size is fixed. We cannot change this. This is how Microsoft engineers designed during the initial phase. So the same thing is, okay, going on so far. Any version, sometimes the interviewers will ask you to test your confidence and all. Oh, is it the same in 2025 also? Is the page size is same in 2025 also? They will ask like this. Yes, this is the design. Design will never change. The new versions will have new features, but the design, the skeleton will never change, guys. Okay, so this is how the pages and extents are going to be managed, guys. Is it clear now, everyone? Okay, fine. Okay, so now let's go back to the SQL Server. We can maybe, okay, create the database. In the morning, we are trying to create the database, right? So let's continue and create the database. I just pinned it to the taskbar, so that's why every time I'm going to, in the organization also, as you will log into the servers regularly every day, opening SSMS from the start menu. It's not so difficult, but again, to save the time, just you can pin SSMS on the taskbar, guys. Simply you can just go and click on this taskbar. Okay, so automatically SSMS will open, and then you can simply connect to the SQL server, guys. So this is how the data will be stored physically and logically. I told you, right? SQL server, inside that databases, inside that schemas, inside that tables. This is how the data will be organized logically. Whereas physically, how the data will be stored physically, guys? SQL server, inside that we have databases, inside that we'll have file groups and log file. Inside the file groups, we'll have data files. Inside the data files, we'll have MDF, NDF. As I said, data files means MDF and NDF. Inside the data file, if you go, you can see an extent. Inside the extent, if you go, you can see a page. Page is a basic allocation unit. Whenever you are creating any new object, it can be a table, it can be an index. SQL server will allocate a page for you. Okay, and always remember, a table is a book. How book will be managed with the help of, if you store something in the book, you will have, definitely you will have index pages. How book will be managed with the help of index pages and the data pages? In the SQL server also same. Every table will have index and the data also. Okay, so the data will be stored at the end of the day. The data will be stored. The table will be stored at the end of the day. It will be stored on a page. If that page is full, not sufficient, SQL server will allocate one more page, one more page, one more page. If that is also full, it will allocate one more extent, one more extent, one more extent. As I said, page size is 8 KB. You cannot change this size. And extent is collection of 8 data pages. So, or we have one more definition. Extent is also basic allocation unit. So whenever you are creating a table, SQL server will allocate a page from the mixed extent, and the subsequent allocations will be from the uniform extent, guys. Okay, right. So I'm just connecting to the SQL server, and I'm going to create one database now. Now you have an idea what is data file, log file, and all. Okay, so now let's go and create the particular database, guys. Right. Okay. So if you want to create database, you can either create using GUI or query. Both I will show you. First GUI, right click on the databases, new database. Right. So now you can give any name. Okay. Just you can give any name. I'm going to give like A to B database, A to B. Okay. Adiyar Anand Bhavan. Okay. So A to B database I'm just going to create. And every object generally will have owners. Okay, every object generally will have owner. So if you don't set the owner, those who is creating particular object, he will become the owner. Now, if the owner is default, can you guess who will be the owner of this database? Who will be the owner of this database?
Yes,
Administrator.
Who? Guest star?
Service account.
Administrator.
Service account?
Administrator.
Very good, Ravindra.
Administrator, sir.
So who is creating? Who connected to the SQL server? Who connected to the SQL server, guys? Where I can see. This instance name contains 3 parts. One is instance name, second one is bill number, third one is the login, with which login you connected to the SQL server. Sometimes we can see the user's names here. If Raj is connecting with his name, it will show you Raj here. User, okay? With what you, because I'm going to provide access for the user. I'm not going to use administrator access in the organization. If, as I said in the beginning, if everyone is using the same account, what is the challenge? If someone deleted the object, it will show you the same account name. It don't show you your name or my name. So it is very difficult. There will be no accountability. There will be no transparency and all. So everyone will have an access. When you Raj connected to the SQL server with his name, it will show you Raj here. If Omkar is connected, it will show you Omkar here. Like that, it will just show you the login names. So if Omkar is creating a database, if Omkar didn't change this owner, if he is keeping like as it is default, so the owner will be Omkar. Who is creating the database? Omkar. The owner will be Omkar. If it is showing default means who connected and who is creating. So that person will come as a default. So is it a good practice? If Omkar is database owner, is it a good practice keeping individuals as database owners or object owners? Is it a good practice, guys? Technically, it's not because Omkar,
No.
okay, currently he is working in XYZ organization. Tomorrow, if we get new offer, a good offer, we will definitely switch to some other company, or maybe some other challenges are there in the current project. He will switch to some other company. So Omkar account will be deleted from the machines. So the database will not work properly. That is the reason we don't recommend to put this as a default. So we have a permanent login here. Okay, if you go to security, there is a permanent login called SA. This SA login cannot be deleted. It's a permanent login. Okay, I can make this owner as SA. Clear, guys? Why the database owner is SA? Everyone, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now if you see here, whether you observed or not, when I am typing A to B, you can see the file names also replaced here. A to B, this is the first file, data file, as I said, which will be created in the file group. As I said, files cannot exist individually. It cannot exist alone. It will be exist in the file groups only. So the default file group, I didn't create any file group, right? But sequencer will create it for you. So the default file group of this database is primary file group. You cannot change this. This is MDF file. You cannot change this. For sure it will be there like this. And then the initial size of the database. Initial size, with what size it is going to be created, the data file. Because data file is a file. Every file will have a size and then it will grow. Log file is also a file. Every file will have a size. So initially, what is the size of this file? Generally in the organization, 1024 will be there. 1 GB data file, 512 MB log file. Okay, like that generally in the organization will be there. But I am going to waste, if I am allocating 1 GB, I am going to waste. So I am just keeping as it is like 8 MB. The initial size. With 8 MB, it will create a new data file. Now, if my 8 MB is full, auto growth is very, very important, guys. See, I am allocating a space of 8 MB to this data file. Are you getting the point? Imagine if this 8 MB is full, are you going to come and add it manually? If you are going to add, I am handling maybe 5000 plus databases. If I am handling 5000 plus databases, each database will have two files, 5000 into 2, 10,000 files every day, morning and evening when you are in the shift. Are you going to manage 10,000 files sizes manually? How much time it will take to log into each server? How much time it will take to change all these things? So if my 8 MB is full, then auto growth. We have automatic, right? Motors and all. Sump motor, tank motor. If the tank is empty, the sensor will detect and it will turn on the motor. Otherwise, you cannot go and check every time. You cannot go to like top and you cannot go and see every time. You will be in the busy, you'll be in the office, you'll be in the work, you'll go out. So auto growth. Okay, if my 8 MB is full, I cannot allocate it manually. Okay, so what I'll do, simply I'll enable this auto growth. How you will enable? How it will grow automatically? There are two options in the auto growth. One is in percentage, second one is in megabytes. What is the difference between these two? In percent means if you give 50 percentage, imagine. Now my file size is 8 MB. If 8 MB is full, how much it will add, guys? How much it will add?
4 MB.
4 MB, because 8 MB, 50 percentage of 8 MB is 4 MB. 4 MB will be added. Now what is the file size? Now total file size? What is the total file size? Earlier it was 8 MB. Now it was 12 MB. If that 12 MB is also full, next Next, if that 12 MB is also full, next, how much it will add? 50%
6.
of 12 MB, which is 6 MB. Then 12 plus 6, 18 MB. If that is also full, 18 by 2, 9 MB, 18 plus 9, 27 MB. If that is also full, again 50% of 27, 13.5. So 27 plus 30.5, 13.5, how much? 40.5. If that is also full, again 50%. Like that, it will keep growing, growing, growing. Where, till what point it can grow, guys? Till what point it can grow? Can anyone guess? Where I'm storing these files? In which location I'm storing these files?
This
Which disk? Which drive I'm storing these files? You can see the answer on the screen. In which drive I'm storing the files?
C
In
drive.
which drive I'm
C drive.
storing the files? C drive, right? So in the C drive, how much free space is there? How much free space is there in the C drive? 11.8 GB. So it will grow automatically. It will grow, 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 grow. Grow means where it can grow. It can use the free space in the drive. So it will use all 11.8 GB free space, and the drive will be full. It will be 30 GB. So what will happen? Then next what I'll do? I'll request Windows team. They will extend this storage to 100 GB. Maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 1 week, after 1 month, after 1 year, that 100 GB is also going to be full. Then again, Windows team will come and again they are going to extend some other storage. Like that, you keep on extending the drives. At one point, you cannot extend the drive. If the drive size is 2 terabytes, you cannot go beyond 2 terabytes. Now you will request one more drive from the Windows team. Windows team will add one more drive. So now that time you will create one more data file in another drive. You will add one more data file in another drive. So once this file is completely full, it's a kind of a flow, water flow, how it was, like how it will go to the down. In the same way, once the data file is full completely, it will go and search next data file, and it will start using the other NDF file. If that is also full, next. That is also full, next. So like that, it will keep adding. We have to keep adding the data files based on the usage and all. That is what auto growth. Okay, auto growth can grow automatically in percentage or in megabytes. Say for example, now I'm just giving 1000 GB, 1000 MB in megabytes. Now what will be the new file size? If my 8 MB is full, what will be the new file size? What will be the new file size, guys? My 8 MB is full. Auto growth is enabled. So it is going to be grow in megabytes. If my 8 MB file is full, then what will be the
In
next
1008.
size? 1008 MB. If that is also full,
2000.
2000. Every time it will add 1000. Okay, in the megabytes it will add the fixed number, whereas in percentage you are going to give a percentage, so automatically it is going to add as per the percentage, guys. Is it clear now? Everyone, auto growth. Maximum size you can limit if you want, but it's not recommended practice to limit. Okay, so we'll keep it as unlimited only. Max, till what point it can grow? Unlimited. If we are going to limit it at one point of time, the files will be limited, so no new data will come, so database won't be accessible, it will be inaccessible. So always we'll choose unlimited only. It will grow until there is a free space in the drive. If there is no free space, we'll request Windows team, they are going to add the storage. So like that it will grow, 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 guys. Okay, is it clear? The auto growth option is clear, guys, everyone?
Yes.
Shanmugh, I have one question.
Yes, Omkar.
How we will configure the auto growth? Suppose my database size is 2 TB.
Generally in the organization, it's actually a good question. There is a logic inside this particular setting of auto growth also. If you don't configure auto growth properly, you will get performance issues. You know that? Because in the auto growth concept, in the log file, we just discussed how data file will be managed, right? In the log file, how log file will be managed internally. If you go inside the log file, what will be there? If you go inside the log file, you will have virtual log files, VLFs. If you go inside the virtual log files, you will have log blocks. If you go inside the log blocks, you will have log records. Okay, so the if you don't set up the auto growth properly, the VLF count, you will have a lot of virtual log files. So it will create performance issues. Okay, is it clear? So it's always recommended to maintain the auto growth properly. In the organization, generally will use 1024 only. If you give small size like 64 MB, 64 MB like that, every time it will add multiple virtual log files, VLF files. If you have more VLF files, the performance will be degraded, guys. So in general, in the organization, auto growth will be 1024 MB for data files, 1024 MB for log file. Means if that 1 GB is full, again it will add 1 more GB, 1 more GB, like that it is going to add in the blocks, in the form of blocks and all, guys. Clear now, Omkar?
Yeah, thank you, Shan.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see here the path where I'm going to store my data file. Okay, so I can save it in the C drive. Generally, now in this scenario, I have only one drive, which is C drive. I don't have any other option to save. So I'll choose C drive only. Okay, I'll choose C drive only, like that. So if you want, you can change the path. I want to save my files in other drive. You can simply minimize it. You can go to some other drive. You can maybe create one folder. There you can store the log file. Anything, data file can be stored in one drive, log file can be stored in another drive. So like that I can change the path and I can save the files. File name you don't see it, okay? But let me copy paste this path. You will get an idea. Control A, Control C, Windows R. Let me open this path. Control V, enter. So if you open this path, what you can see here? Tell me. What you can see here? You can see some files, right? These are system databases files. As I said, I told you, right? Every database will have two files. So system databases, we have four system databases, master, two files, master data file, master log file. Model, actually two files only, model data file, model log file. MSDB, MSDB data file, MSDB log file. TempDB, TempDB data file, TempDB log file. Now, if you create this database, A to B data file, A to B log file also will be created. I'll show you. In the live, I'll show you. So I'm not changing any path. File name automatically it will be populated. Now let's go to options. It's the best practice, Lena. Right. Options, generally collation setting. By default, it will use the SQL Server instance collation settings. Okay, as you already configured SQL Latin 1 General CP1 CI AS, until you change, it will use the same default. If you don't want, you can change some other collation setting. Means server can be in one collation setting, database can be in one collation settings. Generally, we don't change it, just to show you. Recovery model. What is this recovery model and all? We have a separate class on this recovery model, so we'll discuss there. Compatibility level. As I said, every server version will have an object of that particular compatibility. 2019 means 150. So if I want to change to lower version, I can still change it to lower version. I can select any of the means. Even though the database is in 2019, still it will behave like a 2017 or 2016 or 2014, 2012, 2008. Whatever version I want, I can just change it. Okay, so this is how it will be. Containment type, leave it. So these are all different options. We don't change anything, we don't modify anything. You can just keep it as it is. Okay, now file groups. As I said, file groups. So by default, the primary file will be created for the first time. If you don't want that file group, you can just create a separate file group, your own file group. Default, you will get it primary. If you don't want primary, you can change the file group. I mean to say, you can add one more file group here. But MDF file always belongs to which file group, guys? MDF file always belongs to which file group?
Primary.
Primary file group.
MDF.
Yeah, MDF will always belongs to primary file group only. There is no option. The other files you can add a separate file group and you can just keep it inside that particular file group and all. But MDF belongs to same particular primary file group. So I can actually I just did something here in this window. Let me script out this action, whatever I did. Okay, I just gave the name of the database. First thing, change the owner. Okay, then I just changed the maybe auto growth, maybe just keep it as it is. I didn't change. In case if I change, it will be recorded. And in the options page, I just explained I didn't change anything. And there are few options, like we have some of the options as true, some of the options as false, some of the options are on, off, 0. So you can see different things. Okay, and then go to file groups. In the file groups, you can see different file groups and all. We have So as of now, by default, you will get a primary. So it will use the same primary file group. If you don't want primary file group, you can create one more file group with another name. Okay, so this action, if you want, so Shanmukh, what script you said, this window also will generate a script, right? What script it will generate? Show me. Click on this window, script option. See in the back end, it will open. Hmm. See here. What script it is? Create database name A to B, containment and all I just shown you, I didn't explain. On primary file group, name, this is the data file name. Name is equal to logical name A to B. File name is equal to, this is the physical file name. See, if you go to the next one, you see here A to B.mdf. The size 8 MB, which is 8192 KB. File growth, auto growth, we have 64 MB, right? 64 MB into 1024, 65,536 KB. So like that, okay? If you see here, okay, if you see here, go, log on, and this is your data file and this is your log file. Log on, the logical name, and physical file group, physical file name. See here, A to B underscore log dot LDF. Two files, one is .mdf, second one is .ldf. By default, you will get this one, these two files. And compatibility level 50, it is just changing. Go, alter database name, set compatibility, it is changing to 150. And ANSI null default off. There are a lot of options will be there. If you go inside, okay, the down, you can see lot of things, guys. Lot of things you can see. See how many lines of script you have, where I can see the number of lines and all. See here below. See, if I'm just changing, just have a look here. Okay, where is my cursor and all I can see here. So if you just put your cursor here, line 83 means 83 lines of script is there to create the database. Is it possible to remember 83 lines of script to create a database? Is it possible, guys? No, it's difficult, right? So that's why we have GUI. So using GUI, we can happily create the database. But in the backend, it don't understand what is GUI. It is going to run this query to create the database. Then only the database will be created. During the installation, we discussed it, right? You don't understand what is GUI and all. It will create a file with your actions. That file, okay, will be pulled, and then as per the file inputs and all, it is going to execute the query. In the same way, when you are using a GUI, that GUI window will change your actions into the command, and it will give it to the SQL server. SQL server will run that particular command, guys. Clear? Any questions, doubts? So I can execute this query, or I can click OK. Automatically the database will be created. Okay, so let me go back to this window. I'm just clicking on OK. Just OK. Right. Okay, so you can see the database is created. Sometimes it will be visible immediately. Sometimes it won't visible. So what you have to do to see this database? What you have to do? Whenever you do something, what you have to do? Always dash.
Refresh.
Always refresh. Select the instance name completely and then just refresh it. So in case if you don't see the object name or database name and all, after refresh you can see like this. Maybe if you put 1 GB RAM and all, I just used 3 GB RAM, so little fast. If you use 512 MB or 1 GB RAM, so it don't reflect here. It's very slow, right? So just select the instance or select the databases, the root folder. You can refresh it. You can see the new change here. I can also do the same thing, okay? with this script also. Let me show you here. I'll do one thing. Okay, instead of A to B, I'm going to change the script to Control H. A to B has to be replaced with Kanti. Kanti Sweets. Okay. Okay. So now I'm just replacing. See, you will get a pop-up. How many replaces are there? See, replace all. Total 35 occurrences replaced. So now I can create Kanti Suites database. Just blindly I can go and execute, guys. Here just check whether the data files and log files also changed. Earlier a to b.mdf, right? See Kanti Suites.mdf. Kanti Suites underscore log.ldf. Now I can just simply go and execute this query. First, what I have to do before executing? Before executing, what I have to do?
Parse.
Parse. Okay, just parse it first. It will just check the whole script whether it is right or wrong. Okay, database doesn't exist, it is saying, because it's expected. See, if you double click on that, it will be highlighted where is this error and all. See, use database. As of now, we didn't create any database, right? That's why it is saying database doesn't exist. Okay, so the same error. If I create, automatically line by line, it will execute and it will be gone. I'm just executing, guys. See, command completed successfully. I don't see the object. What I have to do? I don't see Kanti Suites database. Always refresh. See, Kanti Suites. Okay, in this way you can able to create the database. So, is it? Can you remember 83 lines of script to create a simple database, or you prefer GUI? Which one is easy? GUI. Okay, now let me do one thing. Okay, right click again, new query window. I'll do one thing. Create database. Database name. Tell me any sweet shop, guys. Haldirams. Okay, Haldirams. Okay. So can I create a database with this query? Is it possible? Is it going to work out?
No.
I didn't
Yes.
give the locations of the files, where in which location. I didn't give the name of the data file. I didn't give the name of the log file. I didn't enable some settings. I didn't change the owner of the database. Nothing I'm doing. I'm just using these three keywords: create, database, database
It can
name.
create.
So is
It
it
can
going
create.
to help us? Can I create? Can I execute? Lina?
No.
No?
Yeah,
Right?
execute.
Yes,
But
I guess. Yes.
Okay, so now let's
The
try.
records have to be.
Okay, let's try execute. So now you can see that the database is
default.
created. Okay, so if you refresh, you can see that database Haldirams. How? Shanmukhi said 83 lines of script. Where is that 83 lines? What about the other details? Why you didn't give all these things? How come it just created with simple three words? So remember one thing, whenever you're executing something, don't think only these three words will be executed. As it understood the action that you are using, SQL Server will add few default parameters like the path, auto growth, whatever options are there. Some of the options are on, off, okay, enabled, disabled. So all these things will be managed internally. SQL Server will provide all those parameters in the back end. You don't need to give it. In the back end, it will provide all the parameters, and then when you are running this query, don't think only these three words are running. No, in the back end, 83 lines of script is running. Then only you are able to see this database. But you don't need to give all those three details and all. SQL Server itself will give all the details.
If you want to see the structure, you can go to some
It's a
option, right? I think.
it's a kind of a parameters. Okay, parameters automatically it will add some default parameters when you are executing this query, and then as per the parameters, it is going to execute the particular query. It is able to create the database, guys. Clear? So now is it clear how to create the database using GUI and query?
If we want to see the structure like that, right? Suppose if we whenever we create the table, we were able to see the structure, right? And the GUI like that. There, we can see the any after creating the database, we are able to see the structure also. I mean, like
The same. When you expand, you will get the same objects here. Okay, the same objects.
no. What I am asking is, I mean, like creating the table structure. Suppose if
No,
we
it will,
create the table just.
visually it will not show you. It will not show you like that. Visually it will not show you. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Shanmukh, how can we check the log file if we create in this?
While creating, we have seen, right, the data file and log file. If you want to see the physical files, open the path. Just you can see here. Okay, see A to B data file, A to B log file, Haldiram's data file, Haldiram's log file, Kanti Sweets data file, Kanti Sweets log file. All are with 8 MB, 8 MB, 8 MB only. If you delete any of the files, first of all, can you delete a Word document if it is opened? If the file is in use, can you delete it? You cannot. So if
No.
I'm trying to delete, see, I'm going to delete this data log file simply. What will happen? You see. Okay, I'm just deleting. Wantedly, I'm deleting. Okay, let's see what will happen. Delete, and then you'll get the confirmation. See, the action can't be completed because the file is open in SQL Server. When the database is online, you cannot simply go and delete it, guys. Don't allow you first of all because the database is online. The files are open. So if the database is not online, the files are closed, so you can easily delete it. So if you want to see the log file, this is how. But you cannot go inside. Don't try to open these any of these files. Don't double click on these files. Database will be corrupted. Never ever open. Shanmukh, I want to see that pages and all. You just discuss a lot of things, right? Can you show me the pages? No. Physically we cannot go and see. Inside this data file, if you go inside, it will be there. But logically only we can see using some queries. DBCC page info, DBCC log info. Actually only we can see. But we are limited to access till this file level. Inside the file we cannot go. Is it clear now? Everyone, log file.
No, Shanmukh, the question I'm asking is, can we see the script which we have done with using the GUI? Can we see the script of this Haldirams?
Okay. So now,
That
other
is what
than
I
these
asked.
three words, okay. So like this you want to see. If you are using GUI, you can see. Otherwise, you cannot see. What script it executed, you cannot see. Maybe during using third party tools. Okay, you can do one thing. You can enable the profiler will help you uh, to just to see what and all internal things are running. Okay, it will help you profiler or extended events or some third party tools. Maybe using that you can get it, but directly you cannot go and pull like this. Okay, when
Yeah,
you are
okay.
running
Yeah,
a
got it.
query, when you are running a query, what and all parameters it is adding, so that you cannot see directly. There is no direct approach. Maybe either you can use any third-party tools, what sessions that are running, or you can use profiler. Profiler is actually performance killer. We don't recommend. Okay, so you have to create one trace before executing this query. You have to create one trace and you have to execute this query. So the subsequent queries will be executed. That you can trace it, track it. Okay, so that is how. But direct approach is not there. Indirect approach only we have. Clear? These are all the explorations that you have to do. As I said, don't go blindly, guys. Okay, just keep exploring, keep exploring. Okay, if I do like this, it will be like this. If I do in this way, it will be like another way. So just keep exploring the things, guys.
But we can see the table script. I mean, whenever we create the table, right, we are able to see in the GUI, we are able to see the um, scripted what we done the when we create the table, right?
That's what.
The
See, if you want to create the table, you can just create it using the script or using GUI. Okay, the script means you are going to write the script, so you know what script you are writing. In
Yeah,
case if
but
you want to
sometimes
generate a script,
we,
yes,
sometimes we are not adding many lines, right, Shanmugh? Uh, when we are able to see the script, I mean, like in the GA, when we are
I
able to
told
see
you, right?
the
If you want to see the script, that is the option.
oh,
What it is running inside, what it is running when I'm executing this query, then you just either go with the profiler or some third-party tools, okay, or some extended events. Maybe it will help you. Direct approach is not there. Okay.
Any changes in the script which we have created via GUI method.
Hmm.
Uh,
What you are going to do,
do
Lena?
we need to do it via G? No, no, I'm asking if I want to do any modifications in the commands, uh,
See, very simple.
can
Here,
we do
I
it?
just change it from A
Uh,
to B to Kanti Suites.
yeah, the replace you did it,
Uh,
but if you want to do it via query, is it possible?
that's what, like
We have created a.
what kind of changes you want to do. It is possible. That is the script, right? If you know the script to change what is what,
Mhm.
then it is possible. You can add that particular line or you can modify that line.
Okay, if we have created a database via GUI and still we can be able to do the changes in the script.
See, that's what, once you created the database, see, everything is possible with the help of script. Few things will not be possible with GUI, but all things are possible with the script. For doing everything, you can have a script. If you know the script, you can execute. If you don't know, Google it and execute. So everything you can achieve it. So while creating a new database, if you want to change the details, you can change it in the GUI. After creating the database, Shanmukh, I want to change, I want to do some changes in this database. Tell, that is possible by using alter queries on the database. You can change it. Maybe you just created the database with initial size 8 MB. Later you want to change it to some 100 MB. You can change it using alter query. After creating the database also you can do that. While creating during the creation of the database, you can change the script itself, right? You can modify the script itself, that time itself. After creation, if you want to do the same thing, if you want to change something on the database or on the object, you can still change it using custom scripts. That's it. Very simple thing. Whatever your requirements, either Sudhir or Lena, everything we can do. But if you know the script, you can achieve it. If you don't know it, you can Google and we can run the scripts. Okay. Any questions, doubts, guys?
Shanmugh, I have one question.
Yes, yes.
I mean, the default parameters from where the SQL Server will take
In the database engine.
while
In the
database
database
creation.
engine, it will take, yeah, from the database engine. Database engine will help you for all these default parameters and all. It will have registries. During using those registries and all, it will use those default parameters. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Every time we can't use GUI method to create database with the default settings.
So what you
In
want
that
me to
case,
do?
if we wanted to, no, no, I'm asking if we want to do it manually via preparing or writing a query, then what should we know?
Nothing.
Means for basic.
Nothing. See, script means very
Okay.
easy. If you just go and Google it, you will get a lot of hell lot of scripts. You will get it in the Google. Just if you have some coding knowledge and all, if you know T-SQL and all, whether I can change this, I can change, I cannot change this, I can use this operator, that operator. If you have some knowledge on the coding, maybe you can modify it, the scripts and all. But I don't know how you people are comfortable with the scripts. But generally 90% because you selected DBA for GUI only. Okay, because SQL DBA is completely GUI only, and you selected DBA for GUI only. Most of the people will select as it is GUI only. So I don't know what is the challenge you will have in creating the objects using GUI. GUI, you'll just simply give the name values. See, for example, if I'm creating a database, I'll give the new database name. That's it. What is there to remember here? If you are changing any default values, you might change it. Easily, you can change it here. You can just add it. You can edit it. And you can just click OK. So is this easy, or remembering 83 lines of script is easy for you? And you are saying remembering 83 lines of script is easy, Shanmukh. For me, I cannot use GUI.
No, I'm not saying like that. I am
Then
saying
that's what GUI is not
if
comfortable,
you want to
Shanmukh.
prefer it, so
That's what. See, if you want to prefer it, learn T-SQL and write 83 lines of
okay.
coding
Mm-hmm.
just to create the database. Just to create the database. Imagine who is going to waste that much of time writing 83 lines of script. I don't know. Maybe you might feel query is easy, but most of the people will feel GUI is easy. Nothing will do in the GUI. Will simply give the inputs and will click OK. That's it.
Script means you are saying the lines of these queries, right?
Script means the whole means.
Yeah.
If it is a single
Okay.
command,
Yeah.
if
Okay.
this
I
is a
got
command, this is a command. Okay, this is a query, and multiple lines of query. You can say a script.
script. Okay.
So now you know the difference between command, query, and script. Now is it which one is comfortable, GUI or query? Which one?
Obviously,
So script.
GUI.
For
Obviously,
Lena,
yeah,
it
GUI is
is.
comfortable.
No, you
No,
are
no, no.
comfortable with script only. No, you write the 83 lines of code. I'll tell you. You can just tell her, I know how,
No,
but I'll create the database using this.
no. I just want to curious to know if you want to do
Just,
any manual just for practice. If you
yeah,
have a time, that's better. No, if you have an extra.
I got it. Just joking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
normally saying, but generally people will use GUI only instead of coding
Mhm.
and all. Yeah. Questions, guys?
So from a scripting point of view, we need to remember some store procedures, right?
Yes. In case if you want, you can remember all those things and all. T-SQL, first of all, you should know T-SQL, transact SQL and all. Then it will be easy for you to write any scripts and all.
Shaluk, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Suppose we need to create a multiple data files at the time of database creation.
Very
How
good.
we can do?
Same, for example, right click, new database. Okay. And this time I'm going to create Omkar DB. Okay. Omkar DB. So now you see here, these two files you will get it. Just add, okay, n number of how many files you want. Omkar DB underscore F2. 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 Okay. Like that. If you want one more file, Omkar DB underscore F3. Okay. Like that. How many files you want. Okay. F1, F2, F3 means file 1, file 2. I'm just giving the name like this. It's not mandatory to give the name like that only. You can give any name. You can give even Katrina Kaif also, no issues. Okay. So it's not a big deal. But when you are trying to identify here, Katrina Kaif.mdf, if you see that file name, someone will, there is a change. They cannot understand like to which database it belongs to. So that is the reason I'm just following one format. Okay. This can be any name. So like that, how many files you want, you can simply click add that particular file, and you can give the file name, you can give the location, and you can just click OK. And number of files, as I said, 32,000 files, you can add it. During the creation, after the creation also I can add the files. It's not mandatory that only during the creation I can add the files. See here, Omkar data file, Omkar dbf2, Omkar dbf3, Omkar db log file. So how to differentiate between a data file and log file, guys? If you see the icons, how to differentiate between a data file and log file? First of all, you can see underscore log, you can easily identify. But I don't give underscore log, I'll give some other name because I can give my own name. It's not mandatory. For the standard policies, I'm just giving underscore log. I gave some other name. So how you can identify this is data file and this is log file? How? Any idea? Simply to identify?
Help of type of file.
Very good. Good point actually. Type of file, it will help you. First thing. Next.
That's the size of the
The icon itself, okay, will tell you whether it's a data file or log file. The icon, if you see the data file icon, you can see a table kind of structure. If you see log file icon, you can see a notepad kind of
Yes.
structure.
Size of the size of.
No, you cannot say size. You cannot say size. Sometimes your log file is more than your data file. Okay, because if log file is having lot of transactions, it is still writing to the data file. Sometimes your log file size will be big than your data file. So don't compare with the help of sizes. No, you cannot guess it using the size. You can guess it, but you cannot confirm it. Sometimes data file sizes will be big, sometimes log file sizes will be big. Okay, any other questions? No, are we good?
Is there any possibility to of
Of coding, huh? Yes, Lina, you're asking something.
yeah, I was asking, but actually I'm not getting words to frame my question. So yeah,
It's
let's
okay.
ask later.
It's okay, no problem. So is this clear, guys? Are we good on this? Creating the databases and all using query, using GUI, and how to manage the files? How we'll manage the data file, log file, internals, pages, extents, file groups, files. Are we good on this? Okay. If we are good, yeah. If we are good, that's it for now. Okay, we'll disconnect today. Okay, I feel that this itself is more because internals, right? Maybe if you go beyond again, it will be like a over kind of thing. So we'll stop now. Okay, we'll connect tomorrow 7 a.m. IST and we'll continue, guys. Okay, fine. For US people tomorrow, tonight. For US people tonight 9:30. For us Indians, it will be like tomorrow morning 7 a.m. IST, guys. Okay. If nothing is there, take rest and just practice it. Okay. This video will be uploaded by tonight, guys. Yeah. If no questions, that's it from my side. We'll connect again tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Mhm. Bye.